Broadcasting live from the Albay PIO News Center, providing you the most exclusive news update from all over the province. This is News at 12. In the local scene, the provincial government of Albay, through the Provincial Education Department, has distributed educational assistance to students and parents in the municipalities of Villar and Guidubatan. Students expressed gratitude, saying that the support helped cover school expenses, including thesis fees, a relief felt by many beneficiaries. The program helped ease the financial challenges faced by families and ensures that education remains within the reach for students. About 60% of the beneficiaries are women, underscoring the program's role in promoting inclusive access to education and future employment opportunities. Through this initiative, the provincial government of Albay continues to build literate, productive, and progressive society. Under the leadership of Governor Noel E. Rizal, the provincial government remains committed to bringing essential programs and services closer to every barangay. In other story, the Gender and Development Division of the Provincial Government of Albay has conducted training on core GAD indicators and GAD database to enhance gender data management in the province. The activity aimed to build the capacity of GAD focal persons and technical working group members in collecting, analyzing, and using gender-related data for effective planning and policy making. Governor Noel E. Rizal underscored the importance of accurate data in achieving gender equality and reaffirmed the province's vision of creating a gender-fair and equitable society. Dr. Rowena L. Undes, acting department head of the Provincial Education Department and GAD Focal Point System Technical Working Group chair, led the discussion on GAD database utilization. Cristita C. Triunfante from the Philippine Commission on Women and the National Gender and Development Resource Program oriented participants on gender indicators, sex disaggregated data, and gender statistics. Excelsis Elijah Birango, DILG Albay GAD focal person, discussed data utilization in the community-based monitoring system, followed by further discussions on data requirements and core indicators from Triunfante. The initiative supports Albay's goal of establishing a reliable gender database to guide evidence-based gender mainstreaming and improve monitoring of gender-related programs across provincial offices. GAD consultant Marlene Bolubar closed the training by emphasizing the importance of continuous data updating and collaboration among agencies to ensure inclusive and equitable development outcomes. In other news, the Albay Provincial Health Board has approved the implementation of telemedicine across the province. The move aims to improve access to health care, especially for those in remote and underserved communities. Telemedicine allows patients to consult doctors using phones, computers, or video call applications. Officials said this will enhance specialist consultations and continuity of care, particularly during emergencies. The program also aligns with the national telemedicine guidelines issued by the Department of Health and partner agencies. In the national scene, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. dismissed allegations that the Independent Commission for Infrastructure investigation could implicate Malacanang, calling them part of a broader effort to remove him from office. In response to questions from Palace reporters, he argued that his approval of the national budget does not imply involvement in any of the alleged irregularities. Although certain individuals aligned with his administration have been implicated, the president maintained that neither he nor his office engaged in any wrongdoing. The controversy has reached both the House and Senate, with hearings either suspended or terminated. Some of those linked to the irregularities are associated with Marcos and former ally Vice President Sara Duterte. Despite growing speculation and political noise, the president urged the public to trust the process, expressing confidence that the ICI would fulfill its mandate to investigate those involved in the alleged anomalies. The Commission has faced criticism for holding its hearings behind closed doors, drawing calls from lawmakers, including Senate President Vicente Soto III, to make the proceedings accessible to public through live streaming. In other story, students from various universities plan to stage a war walkout on Friday, October 17, joining a mass protest at Mindjolo, calling it the National Day of Action Against Corruption. The youth are calling for accountability regarding the country's ongoing flood control corruption anomalies. Several schools along Taft Avenue, including PNU, De La Salle University, and the College of St. Benilde, along with other institutions in the University Belt, Santa Mesa, Intramuros, and Quezon City, plan to leave classes and gather in Moraita before marching to Mindjolo to join other groups. Universities in regions such as Cebu and Davao have also pledged to organize protests in their local areas. Kabataan Party List Representative Rene Ko urged young people to join the action, rejecting a back-to-normal attitude amid revelations of stolen funds affecting the youth's future. As investigations and hearings proceed, students are demanding accountability from senior government officials, including President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and Vice President Sara Duterte, over their alleged roles in corruption scandals. They also criticized the lack of transparency in ongoing investigations and the continued presence of pork barrels fund in the newly approved national budget. In other news, the Insurance Commission announced on Wednesday that it is investigating the potential collusion between insurance companies and contractors involved in fraudulent flood control and other infrastructure projects. Commissioner Reynaldo Regalado stated that although no evidence has been found so far, the possibility of collusion is still being considered, especially in light of the ghost flood control projects uncovered by the Department of Public Works and Highways. During the signing of a data sharing and cooperation agreement with the DPWH, Regalado mentioned that they are examining project progress, timelines, and the transactions between insurance companies and contractors. He is also considering requiring insurance companies to conduct physical inspections or implement more stringent monitoring of the projects they insure. DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon said the government might recover up to 30% of the contract value of ghost or substandard infrastructure projects through insurance claims. He added that the DPWH has already initiated the process to claim bonds from contractors responsible for the anomalous projects in the 1st District of Bulacan. And in the news outside the country, nearly 14 million people in Afghanistan, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Haiti, Somalia, South Sudan, and Sudan faced severe hunger because of major cuts to international humanitarian aid, according to the United Nations World Food Program. The World Food Program is experiencing a 40% funding shortfall in 2025, with its budget dropping from $10 billion last year to $6.4 billion. The United States, the program's largest donor, has significantly reduced its foreign aid under President Donald Trump, and other countries have also cut support. A recent report from the program warns that these funding cuts could push the exact number of 13.7 million people from a crisis level of hunger to an emergency level, which is extremely close to famine. Even regions like the Sahel, where aid dependence has decreased, risk setbacks without continued support. The program's warning highlights the fragile state of global food security and the urgent need for sustained humanitarian funding. In other story, Hamas transferred more bodies of deceased hostages to Israel on Tuesday, marking limited progress in a ceasefire deal stained by setbacks. The handover followed Israel's decision to cut humanitarian aid to Gaza in half, citing Hamas's failure to fully comply with the terms of the agreement on returning remains under the peace plan negotiation. In Gaza, Hamas forces reappeared on the streets, reasserting control by deploying security personnel and executing individuals accused of collaborating with Israel. Their renewed presence underscored ongoing instability as diplomatic efforts falter. Donald Trump, who recently promoted a peace initiative, has warned of possible military action if Hamas does not disarm. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has also maintained that the war will not end until Hamas gives up its weapons and control of Gaza, conditions the group continues to reject. Earlier this week, Israel and Hamas completed a major prisoner exchange, trading 20 Israeli hostages for nearly 2,000 Palestinian detainees and prisoners. The return of 28 deceased hostages remains unresolved, and Hamas has so far returned 8 bodies, with at least 19 more believed dead and one still missing in the Gaza Strip. The latest coffins were delivered by the Red Cross at a meeting point in northern Gaza and brought into Israel for identification late Tuesday. And finally, in the news outside the country, the International Criminal Court confirmed that the removal of prosecutor Karim Khan from the case against former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte will not affect the ongoing investigation. Khan was disqualified from the case by ICC appeals judges on October 2 due to a reasonable appearance of bias. Before becoming ICC prosecutor in 2021, Khan had assisted victims of Duterte's controversial drug war in 2018, and judges ruled that this prior involvement could compromise his impartiality. Since May, Khan has been on leave due to an internal investigation into sexual misconduct allegations. His responsibilities in the Duterte case have since been handled by Deputy Prosecutor Mame Mandiaye Niyang. The ICC stated that the investigation is proceeding based on independently collected evidence from witnesses, state sources, civil society, and public records. Meanwhile, Duterte has been denied interim release and is undergoing psychiatric evaluation to determine if he is mentally fit to stand trial. And that's all for the news at 12, October 17, 2025. We'll be back next week for more news updates. Thanks to our news writer LJ Lorejo and Naomi Ruth Hernandez, and on the technical side, Chad Bobis. Our Provincial Information Officer, OIZ Marty Gonzalez, and under the supervision of our Governor, Noel E. Rizal, I am Greg Hallare. Thank you for subscribing.